Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. We are so happy to have you here wherever you are in the world. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I am the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network, where we celebrate elevated listening. Our show today is the latest news and updates from the United Kingdom and the royal family, and I am joined by our esteemed and renowned panel of people who have created so much valuable content in this world. I'm blessed that they are here with us. DIANN BOEHM has the day off, so hello to you, DIANN, wherever you are. We're wishing you all the best. Let's welcome our team of experts. Joining us, Helena Chard. Hello.
Hey. Hi. Lovely to see you.
Nice
and to you as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've got my little... Oh, I'm so pleased. Oh, I'm excited.
It looks
so positive
fabulous.
And twinkly. Thank you.
And joining us from his new abode, it's Mr. Ian Pelham Turner. Hello.
Hello there. Hello.
Nice to see you.
I'm going to talk with a rather British accent this afternoon in my new abode.
Well, you look very happy there. It's very nice. We're going to hear more in just a minute. And also recently back from his travels, Mr. Simon MacDonald. Welcome.
Hello there. I'm sorry to make you so annoyed with this awful tan which I've got. It's been, here we are on the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, and I've just left South Africa in the Southern Hemisphere, where they've got the longest day of the year, and it's hot there.
Well, you look wonderful and rested, and I'm so glad that the three of you are here with us today. There's a lot of news and activity going on over there, and we're just interested to hear the latest and greatest. But before we do that, I'd love to go around and just have you share a little bit about what this time of year means to you. Let's go to Helena.
I'm not somebody who's a typically Christmassy person, but I do love any holiday period. And I suppose just in a simple word, it's just peace, I guess, and oneness, to be able to give to others and share with others and take time to reflect. I think I think it's a very, very special time. And I feel there should be a show absolutely just on this, Dr. Jacalyn.
Fantastic. And I think there is going to be a show on this topic, and it's Talking Peace, and it is on Monday of next week. So we'll get into that as well. Thank you so much, Helena. And we're going to go over to Mr. Tan, Simon MacDonald.
Yes, well, Christmas is a wonderful time of the year. It really is. It's a very emotional time of the year for many people as well. It's a sad time for some as well. So, for anybody out there feeling a bit glum and so on, keep tuning into this channel. We'll cheer you up somehow or other. But I've got very fond memories of Christmas when I was young, and my parents had what we would call a Christmas house. It just all the year round. It just had that spirit in it and the feel of Christmas about it as well. And I remember my mother was very artistic in the way she laid everything out and decorated the place. So it was just this lovely warmth, and the smell of the mulled wine and all the cooking that's going on. It's a very special time. And I believe today the weather people are absolutely insistent that the UK is going to have a white Christmas this year. And it's been quite a while since we've really had a good white Christmas. But there's big weather fronts coming in. So, we're in for it. Yes.
Thank you so much. Do you like white Christmases?
I love them. Yes.
You do, yeah.
Does everybody else? There's a look of
Yeah,
shock
I mean,
on Ian's
I
face
think
there, thinking, "Oh no."
we've had days actually of snow, so we have had quite a bit of snow. It's come early. But yeah, I seem to like it when it's a white Christmas, because actually, on the whole, it's not really as cold as you imagine as well when it's snowed. But it looks picturesque.
Yes.
And I love photography. We all love photography, so it's always a good time to shoot, because we don't have it often now.
I don't have it here in Florida at all, and I'm not missing it. But let's go over to Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner.
Well, what does Christmas mean for me? It means a lot of things. You know, I hope to bring people happiness at Christmas. It's always fun. I think, first of all, and I think the reality is that this year, you know, we faced a lot of adversities, and I hope that Christmas will bring us together. I think we're going to have to need a lot of togetherness for next year, especially at the moment, you know, the way the United Kingdom is going. And I think, you know, the reality with Christmas is that nowadays, Christmas, you know, at some stage, and I wonder what Simon and Helena and yourself, Jacalyn, think about this, but I think it's become too commercialized at times. You know, and I remember very simple Christmases, you know, when I was young, and you know, we used to rush downstairs when we were children and we, you know, look at our stockings, or we had pillowcases, you know, that were filled with presents, and you know, I always, you know, when I think back, my parents used to save for months beforehand, just so they could get us some nice Christmas presents at the same time. So I think these days, you know, we're going to be playing, I hope, a charity video shortly that Helena has found, and called Crisis at Christmas, which is a charity. And I think, you know, this year, I hope more than anything that we remember those who are, you know, Ukraine, for example, who are going through less fortunate times than ourselves, and just raise a glass to them as well.
Thank you very much. Ian, would anyone like to comment on what you all shared?
Yeah, I think Ian's absolutely right there. I mean, you know, we do cast our mind to think of, you know, those less fortunate ourselves, in particular, the crisis in Ukraine just now. And the weather there is pretty horrendous, and it is very, very cold. You know, there's homeless families everywhere there with bombed out houses and so on. The troops who are in the trenches, I mean, it's gone back to sort of trench warfare. And the conditions that they have to, you know, to be in is just unbelievable. So yeah, the heart goes out to these guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I was also going to add, we've had a number of people on the program, all of our programs recently, who have really gone through horrific things, human trafficking, parents killed. I could go on. And just to be able to give them a place to share their story. And you can watch them when they first get here, they're nervous and tense. And then as we're almost at the end of the show, they're kind of like, oh, I feel better that I was able to share my story. So we are thinking of the fact that there are people all over the world who are going through different things and feel alone. They have no one to speak to. And all of us here welcome you to reach out so that you can share whatever it is you're going through.
Well, it's a happy time as well. It's a happy time as well. And as you can see behind me, I'm pretty well stocked up. No doubt Simon is as well. And I'm sure Helena will be coming over to on the boat to abide with some of the alcoholic delicacies that I have on my sideboard.
So what will be the drink of preference?
Oh, well, my drink of preference, I don't normally drink. But
I was going to say, I could think of many shows where you talked about drinking. I don't know, but okay, sorry, go ahead. I digress.
He inhales it, takes it intravenously.
Do you know, recently I got into this new place, and having a glass of wine at night seems to fit in with the ambience of the flat. So that's my excuse anyway.
Let me tell you guys, I popped over to see Ian, and he has all these different bottles of wine, port, you name it. But he always says, I don't drink. And then he'll say, do you want a glass of wine? And then he's got a glass of wine in his hand. So I am wondering, Mr. Turner, what's going on? But no, I'm equally happy that he's really happy in his new place. And it's lovely, isn't it, to sit down, I think, sometimes and have a glass of, well, for me, a glass of red, which is warming, especially now in sort of cold festive times, which is lovely. And I think an interesting thing as well, I think here in the UK, that more families, actually over 75%, are not having that traditional Christmas, you know, giving loads of presents, etc. And in fact, most families, well, not most families, a big percentage of families, bearing in mind the statistic I just gave, are actually doing a no present pact. So you can do things for each other, which I think is lovely, i.e. if you've got a skill, you could maybe gift an hour of that skill or whatever, however much, you know, week, 2 hours, whatever you want to do. And I think that's beautiful to be able to give time. I think, well, for me personally, because I've also not been brought up with, in my family, to receive lots of presents. So I've always been gifted, you know, walks outside and nature walks and just learning and things like that, which I've always really, really enjoyed. And I think to now, that thought of being able to give time, so you can actually give like a voucher, you know, saying, I gift you on this very special day, whatever it is. And how lovely is that? I just think that's, to me, is perfect. And also, if you know, not only the gift of time to others, you can give time in different ways, whether it's soup kitchens, you can buy, give money to charities, which are great over Christmas to advise and help and give people, homeless people, you know, Christmas dinner. And so it goes on. So that traditional giving presents for the sake of presents. And let's be honest, lots of people receive presents and then they're sort of thinking, oh, you know, another, I don't know, maybe a smelly box or something, and it gets put in the cupboard and it's a bit of a waste of money. And lovely to recycle those gifts. But on the whole, do we really need loads of presents? I think not, personally.
I love that point. And it takes away a lot of the pressure that people feel that, you know, maybe they don't have the money or they don't know the person well enough. And it's give your time is a wonderful idea.
There's a wonderful channel over here at the moment as well. And exactly what Helen was talking about. They're trying to get 70 million given minutes of time across the nation. 70 million. They're up to 68 million minutes of time that people have donated for it may be to help someone or to do something as well. So it just goes to show that in the British way of life, as what happened with Ukraine, as soon as Ukraine started, then we were one of the first to throw open our doors in Great Britain to Ukrainians coming into Britain. But I think the other thing is I do believe in giving myself the odd present as well. And so, Simon, you'll be pleased to know I've got my smoked salmon.
Ah, finally! Yay!
Well done, finally. Well, as we speak, have actually got some gravlax on curing in the kitchen just now. It should be ready about 9. Come off the cure about 9:30 tonight, and then another 24 hours, and it'll be just ready for eating. So that, and I've got copious quantities of champagne to wash it all down with, and some very fine malt whiskies there lurking about too. There's a decanter decreasing in its quantity of port just now, but I tend to use port more for cooking now. It's an age thing creeping up on me now that I find port is just getting too cloyish. I don't know. Is it a trend? I don't know, but I love my champagne, and I like a glass of malt whiskey as well in the evening, just before dinner. Yeah, very nice.
Well, we've confirmed that we all like to drink, so there you have it.
Oh.
So as the saying goes, if you drive, don't drink, but if you drink, invite me over.
Absolutely.
And Simon, I understand that you have been given another award. Tell us about that.
Yes, yeah, it's getting a bit cluttered now. Yes, it was out of the blue. I've got this global award for Best Fisheries Forum, of the year. So I was absolutely delighted to have been nominated for that. Again, I don't know who it was that nominated me, but there we are, another trophy on its way to adorn the shelves of the household. More
Congratulations.
Well done.
So
Well
very
done.
surprised.
Congratulations.
That's a nice
I
Christmas.
have to say, Simon, just because we're talking about fish, and I'm really glad you're here, because I wasn't sure you were going to be here today. I heard something which was a quote which said something like Brexit Britain's fishing quota up by 30,000 tons or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was for next year.
Yes, it's a bit of good news for the fleet. You know, we've still got to work out what species they're talking about, because you know, there was a case of quotas being introduced and quotas being allowed on certain species down in the Solway. Unfortunately, the species of fish do not exist down the Solway, so it was a bit academic. I think the Shetland and the Shetland Isles are very pleased, because I know that monkfish has been on the chopping block, shall we say, for having quotas reduced, and they've been very worried, because it is a very important area for catching monkfish, it is anglerfish, it's sometimes known as, and it's a really delicious fish, very, very good texture, lovely flavor, with a slight sweetness to it. But anyway, their quota is not being reduced. They're actually having that quota is going to be increased. So that's good news. And I believe cod as well will be probably, and don't quote me on this, I haven't seen all the quota figures yet, because it's just been released. But there's actually quite a lot of cod present in the North Sea just now, more than there has been for some time. So hopefully we can see more and more cod appearing on the shelves, and it's giving the boats a chance at last to be able to go out there and catch more fish, rather than have to throw it all back in the sea.
Have you noticed that on every royal show we talk about food more
I know,
than
I was just thinking.
I'm starving.
I'm starving.
I'd love some gravlax and
you
salmon.
know, every time we finish a show, at the end of the show, I feel hungry.
I'm starving right now. And our viewers and listeners are like, what are the latest news and updates? Is it tasting out what they're eating?
Well, I used actually the royal connection is there, because I used to supply Her Majesty with smoked salmon every Christmas for quite a number of years. And it became really part of the sort of tradition of my smoking business when the order came in for HM, and that was it. And it was quite a rigmarole around it, a lot of security around the production of it, and then the testing of it, and then the delivery of it as well. So that's it. And it's the same, because we supplied 3 US presidents as well. So, it was for a tiny little village in the middle of the West Highlands where I ran my smoking business. And when I say it's remote, it would cost me 10 litres of petrol just to go and buy 5 litres of petrol. So we were really out in the sticks. But we supplied some pretty smart people, and we shipped from Beverly Hills in the west to Tokyo in the east. So Christmas time, I always remember, I had 30 odd years in that smokehouse, and Christmas was manic. My house was only about 150 yards away from the smokehouse itself, but I wouldn't see the house for about 2 weeks. It was just work. Couldn't get out of the place, just so busy, producing tons of salmon, and all the slicing was done by hand. It was very intensive, and then the posting and doing all the parcels up for the couriers and the parcels going by post. It was quite incredible the volumes we got through. And I always used to gauge how good Christmas period of production was by how much brown sticky tape we used to parcel up all the sides of salmon. And the last Christmas I had with the smokehouse, we got through just over 52 miles of brown sticky tape in a 3-week period.
Oh my gosh.
So that gives an indication that was wrapping a heck of a lot of parcels.
Simon, what
Wow.
would
Well,
you say was the difference or the competitive advantage that you had with your smoking process or whatever you did that Her Majesty, as well as presidents and others, were turning to your product as opposed to someone else's?
Because they liked it. And it was
they loved it. Not they
yeah,
liked
they
it. Come
didn't just
on.
like it, they loved it, yes.
They
And
did.
I mean, a lot of the, I marketed it a lot on the romanticism of the West Highlands, because the West Highlands conjures up all sorts of images in the mind, the hills bowing down to the sea and these glorious sunsets and the sea lochs and the islands and all the wildlife, buzzing about and so on. So it really does conjure up an image of quality and purity, and it's a great marketing tool. I mean, we live in an excellent marketing tool here. Pretty cold one just now, but it certainly helped. But it was just, I made my product available, but I made it hard to get. I mean, British Airways, I remember they approached me wanting me to smoke scallops for them for their flights. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Okay. How many do you want? I'll do it for first class and for Concorde only. I'm not doing it across the board. I'm not interested in business class. I'm not interested in the economy. It's got to be first class or Concorde. And they sort of looked at me and said, this is British Airways. People kill to get contracts with us. And I said, good, I'd like to think people do the same with me. So they went away. They got hold of me the next day and said, I like your style, we'll have it. So 23,000 smoked scallops we did for first class travel in British Airways. And then 1,500 smoked king scallops every week for Concorde as well. So that's it. And that got all the others on the go. So suddenly Cathay Pacific came in and said, oh, I like this, we want this for our people. So I said, well, same applies, first class. So they had 15,000 smoked oysters from me every week, and American Airlines had smoked mussels from me every week. So it all slotted in then, and it was almost like a domino effect it had. So make your product available, make it hard to get, but make it really good so that people enjoy it, because they'll always come back for more.
Excellent.
That's an incredible story.
Do you know, can I just, we sort of know we're fished out, but just as I looked up, so the quota next year, Simon, is going to bring in more than £280 million.
Yeah, that's
30,000 tons. So, I mean, that's pretty brilliant. So that's
we need the money.
Yeah, don't we all? But do you know what? I think we should move on swiftly, because I think we've had enough fish and wonderful smoked fish and all these wonderful things also. And I feel we should move on to something a little bit more royal. I don't know what you think, Ian, but there's been so much going on at the moment. Gosh, good news, bad news, okay news 24/7. But we like to report on real stuff as well. So I mean, I think for me, I'm going to start on the Royal Variety performance. So this is something that was screened last night, and lots of people tuned in to see a wonderful performance, which actually did leave lots of viewers in tears, but tears of happiness, tears of memories, which I think this whole season of holiday season evokes that feeling. But this was a tribute to the late Her Majesty the Queen. The whole idea of the Royal Variety performance is to fundraise, and this is for the Royal Variety charity, which is something that's been around since 1912. And this wonderful performance was put on at our fabulous, most stunning Royal Albert Hall, which seriously is the most wonderful place to visit if you ever get a chance to do that. And so many people were part of this production. And I think the most beautiful thing is the rendition of Sing, S-I-N-G, and it was beautiful. Loads of different people involved, and it was beautiful to see lots of children, and it was all really for Her Majesty the Queen. So it was a wonderful.
Helena, I think, is frozen.
Helena is frozen for a second. Well, let me take a.
And I put on a Santa hat.
I know. I saw that. I saw that. I thought for a second it was a bandage because all I can see is. But then we got the Santa hat. We got the Santa hat. Well done. Well done. Brownie points to Jacalyn. So just to, again, whilst Helena's unfreezing, there's lots of different royal things going on at the moment. But one of them is a row going on now about the King's speech. King Charles, for the first time, will be doing his own royal speech, which was obviously what his mother did, Queen Elizabeth, for many, many years. 3 o'clock on Christmas Day would be the speech from the monarch. So it's his first time to do it. And he originally was going to film it with the commercial television channel in UK. And then he found out that the commercial channel was just about to do a major interview with Meghan and with Harry. And so I get what might have happened is that I think this channel, the commercial channel, had already filmed the King's speech, and now he's gone to the BBC instead. That the PBS of UK. And he's going to do it with them instead. And people are trying to find out from the palace, why has he changed channel? And everyone thinks it may be because that of this huge interview they're going to be doing with Harry and Meghan. So there's a row going on at the moment with that. And I don't know, is Helena come back yet?
No, she's not back yet. Okay.
So what other raw news? There's so much raw news going on at the moment. I think, and another issue that's going to be happening again is that the family tradition for the royal family at Christmas is to be at Sandringham. Basically it hasn't happened for the past 3 years because the Queen obviously was at Windsor Castle, and so the King Charles has now decided that the family will go back to the family traditional royal family event. Here comes Helena back again. I was just talking about Sandringham. Do you want to take it over?
I don't know how far you got, but so I seem to have something happened there. So Sandringham, I know. So this is like the first. I don't know how far you got, but I know the royal family are going to be at Sandringham, which is, it's such a wonderful location in Norfolk. Absolutely beautiful, and it's the first time, I believe, in 3 years. Obviously, Her Majesty the Queen is going to be missed hugely, but it's going to be a really fun time. But also remembering as well that there will be King Charles is going to host a wonderful Christmas event for the broader family, because it's a more intimate family affair, I think, at Sandringham. But the broader affair is in Windsor, which is going to be a fabulous time for children and a lot of play. And I think for me that one of the most interesting things is that at Windsor, I know Her Majesty the Queen has gifted to the grandchildren. So it's the wonderful, do you remember, we spoke about it before, it's the small little house, the people of Wales gifted to Her Majesty the Queen, this wonderful little place that her and her sister Margaret used to play in. I'm sure it was something like 1912. I mean, this just, and I've probably got my time dates a little bit out of sync, I'm not sure, but absolutely wonderful. So she's gifted this little house to her great-grandchildren. So we're looking at Charlotte, Louis, and obviously George. This lifestyle, it's a life-size playhouse. And it's obviously of the Royal Lodge, and it's got electricity. It's completely amazing. Sorry, 1932. I was just thinking that's ridiculous. That's 1912, is ages ago. So that's really lovely for the grandchildren, etc., to be playing as well. So it's going to be a fun Christmas time, and as usual, the funny presents will be coming out. We all, always hear about all the different funny little intricacies that happen. But also just to remember as well that Harry and Meghan actually in 2017, I remember seeing an article where they had the most fantastic Christmas at Sandringham, had a fabulous time with the Prince and Princess of Wales, as they're known now. And it's lovely to have that documented. But and I hope that everyone else, everyone in the world as well, has some little lovely fun time, a little bit of escape that they can enjoy during the festive period.
And there's a protocol as well. There's a lot of protocol for Sandringham, which I discovered some time ago, is that each member of the royal family enjoying a Christmas at Sandringham, they are allotted their 15-minute period to arrive. And the reason behind that is then that all the livery people who are carrying all the cases up and downstairs, each one of them arrive 15 minutes at a time, and it goes in pecking order. So obviously senior royals, the more senior are, they arrive first, and then it goes down the ranks of the people who. So it's like something out of Downton Abbey. It's something you were seen in Downton Abbey. So that there is a protocol. And if I remember rightly, and Helena may just say if it's not, but I think if I remember rightly, the royal family open all their presents on Christmas Eve. They don't open their presents on Christmas Day. And apparently this is a tradition going back to Prince Albert and Victoria. And apparently the Germans in those days opened their Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. And the other just bit of, factoid, if you like, is that the royal family never spend much on each other's Christmas presents, but they try to outdo each other with the most strangest, stupid, craziest presents they can actually offer people. And I think one year, and I can't remember what it is, and this could be totally wrong, but I think one of the royal family gave another member of the royal family a music called Toilet Seat. So that every time that they would sit down, music would play as well. And it's those types of sort of strange gifts that the royal family love to receive from each other.
That's the gift that keeps
yes,
giving.
was it not? Did it not play "God Save the Queen"? So every time they sat down, they had to stand up to attention again. You could be in there for a long time.
I know that the royal family now, they love to give sort of homemade presents as well. And I know that Kate Middleton, she when she first met I think this was years and years ago, she was thinking, goodness, what can I give Her Majesty the Queen? And she gave her grandmother's chutney recipe. So she made lots of it and gave it. And that's something regularly that she used to do each year. And it used to be out at Christmas. So just simple little things.
Very special and personal.
I think it's much more fun that way as well, and much more imaginative. I mean, I've got relatives, and they put a budget limit on it, no more than £5 or $5-6, and that was it per present, and one present per person. So it made you get a bit creative. If you keep the price down like that, you think, well, what can you get for £5 now? Not a lot. But if you're creative and imaginative and so on, you can actually make that £5 go quite a long way. So it's all part of the fun.
I don't even think you can get a Happy Meal for that price anymore from McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Now, we're going back to food again, but do you guys ever eat McDonald's?
That was you that did that,
Helena. By the way, we do have 2 clips that we want to take a look at as well.
Yeah. Do you know, just before we do, it's whenever it's a holiday period, or for me, whenever it's a time of reflection, it's always so good to think about others, as we know, and hundreds and hundreds will be homeless this Christmas, or forced homeless, which is horrible. And obviously we can all help in that sense, even if it's talking, Obviously raising money. There are so many different charities that you can spend some money and it gives one person so much help, not just a Christmas meal, but help in everyday life. But also for me, thinking about it, I know 1 in 100 children will wake up on Christmas Day homeless, which is absolutely horrendous when you think about, what stability, you need stability at a certain age, and how it can impact mentally on people, young people. And a very sad story, but it's not to make people sad, but make people realize and remember, and actually, if you want to help, we can all help. But there was one young lady who has been made homeless with her family, and she basically had to do her GCSEs in the toilet. That's where she studied. There was no other space. It wasn't a very good place that they'd been positioned in, and it was miles away from family. And that's the only way that she could give herself that small space to study. I mean, congratulations to her, but it's to remember, we can all give where we can. It's so important. So I think the videos we've got, it's an impact thing. And I think it'd be lovely to show them, Dr. Jacalyn.
All right, so let's take a look. Should I just show them one after the other, or you want to have a conversation?
Yeah, I think one of them, depending on which ones you're going to show, there's one which is quite clever marketing, and it's to do with homelessness, that maybe we could show that to begin with, and it's really to remember, and it's something. It's an interesting, clever little clip. So if we can show that one, if you've got that to hand,
let's take a look at it.
2010, as the cost of living crisis continues, over 300,000 households across Britain could be forced into homelessness next year.
Wow, I got chills on that.
It is. It's very clever, isn't it? Because I know that speaking to people that have even put themselves in a homeless situation to raise money for charity, so they've been on the streets in sleeping bags, etc., and they've stayed out for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and very quickly, even within 24 hours, your morale, the way you feel, you're cold, you can't communicate, you feel, go inwards, and you see the way that people treat you. And this is just trialing it to raise money. It really impacts hugely. So and obviously with cost of living soaring, together we can all help, I think, to try and end homelessness.
Yeah, I think that is really good marketing, because you see someone who's homeless and you don't acknowledge them in some cases. And in this case, it's like, hey, I'm right here, as big as life. Look at me, I'm a person. It's
clever. And that's the charity Crisis. They're a fabulous charity here in the UK, and they do a huge amount, huge amount. And I know that we have another clip as well. I don't know if we're able to show it or what everyone thinks.
Yeah, let's take a look. Do you want to tee it up first?
Again, this is, I think this is showing Crisis is a wonderful charity here in the UK, and they help people, they help homeless people. They don't just give a Christmas dinner. There's so much more that they do. But again, we were talking about presents, and we don't need literally sparkly presents necessarily, but maybe we can gift an amount of money to Crisis or whatever, which will help somebody. It's for under £30 sterling, UK sterling. You can do so much help from now, and I think it highlights this within the clip.
Okay, let's take a look.
A gift of £29.07 could be life-changing to people facing homelessness. Your support could offer a warm place to stay, health and well-being support, training, education, and help with benefits. But it's Christmas, So all the things that many of us enjoy this time of year are also on offer, including festive food and games. Your donation could be the start of specialist support that lasts all year round, so that people who are homeless can find a safe, secure home and leave homelessness behind for good. A gift of £29.07 empowers all of us to stand with people facing homelessness, putting someone by their side for as long as it takes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think what it does is it reminds everyone, doesn't it? And it's very easy people can end up, it's that myth that, it never happened to me. It can actually happen to anyone. And people on huge salaries, etc., can end up homeless for whatever reason. So I think again, Dr. Jacalyn, you've got the most wonderful platform to highlight these things and to give people that platform, which is really very special.
Thank you. Ian, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that the statue that you saw in the first video is actually a real statue, and it's at one of our railway stations now. It's a full-size statue. It's at one of our railway stations in London, and I think it's about 8 or 10 feet tall, and it's to remind people again that when they're travelling off to their families or whatever, there will be homeless people this Christmas as well. So I think Crisis started off as Crisis at Christmas. I think it's now called Crisis because that they deal with people's issues right across the year at the same time, and I think it's very important. Yes, we should find. I think it's going to be a very daunting year next year, so we should find ways of helping everybody. And I think what better Christmas gift can it be than just to sort of help other people as well? I think that's the best Christmas gift of the lot.
Ian, while I have you on Spotlight, would you like to talk about the upcoming show on Monday, Talking Peace?
Yes, well, basically, it's with Daisy Gideon, it's with yourself, Jacalyn, and it's with Helena as well, and Alcini. And basically, what we are creating is a show that may carry on next year as well in some format. And we talk about peace at Christmas and how we can achieve peace at Christmas. Daisy herself obviously has done this award-winning documentary, and I think she's just won another award in the past few days for this documentary. It took her 5 years to actually film this, and her aim is to try and bring more peace, tranquility, and security in Lebanon, where she lives. And really, I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to, when we're talking about Christmas time and what we're really looking for in the new year, peace has got to be one of the biggest benefits and opportunities that we can help to create. And so the show on Monday now, I think, is designed really for us as seasoned broadcasters as well, to actually talk about peace, talk about really the values that we value, dearly within a peaceful environment, and how, in some ways, it may be possible now to create peace across the world.
Thank you, Ian. Helena, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think. Yes, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. I think it's a worldwide, international slant, and I know that obviously Daisy has her award-winning footage as well, which is fabulous. But I think from my point of view, it's something that I have worked with for years now, 15 years plus it feels, that we have this media is so positive, isn't it? It's fabulous that we've got this, and we've got our platforms, and we can share, and we can talk about different things. But 24/7 at the same time. I mean, when I was little, it wasn't the case at all. But now, 24/7, we've got this rolling media, and I would still say that a lot of it is too negative. And for me, positive, constructive journalism that you can share and lifting people up, create that sparkle, is so important. And I still feel there's lots of platforms that do not celebrate this and do not push this. And it's so important because it gives joy, it gives people hope. And that is so important to create positivity, to create change. And I think that's what this platform's about, and what I believe the show will be about on Monday.
Thank you, Helena. And Simon, I know that you will not be on the show. You'll be on one in the future, hopefully. But what does Talking Piece of Christmas signify for you? What comes up?
Yeah, I think, looking at that, those clips there, we all got to remember that Christmas is a time for giving. It's the most important part of it all for us, giving. And it's just give a little time, give a little love. That's the greatest gift you can possibly give to anybody, anytime. And the world will be a happier place if you can do that.
I agree. Thank you. And what I like to share is also that the gift of listening. It seems so trite, but so many people don't have anyone to listen to them. And what happens is we keep it all bottled up inside, and then it ends up affecting our health. It affects us emotionally. So just be a good listener and be there for someone. And if you see someone that has a change in behavior, reach out to them and ask them, hey, what's going on? Anything you want to share that maybe I can help you with? And maybe you'll get through to someone, and maybe you won't, but at least they'll know that you cared enough to try.
Yeah. And it reminds me of the Beatles song, Give Peace a Chance. I remember it being recorded as well. It was televised, the actual recording of Give Peace a Chance. It was televised live at the time. But I go back centuries, you see. I go.
Would you like to sing it for us right now?
No.
Was that not the first the first global link up with television that they had? That they did the recording of Give Peace a Chance.
Yeah, it was one of those miraculous times. I mean, television to me is a miraculous medium anyway, and I think we're all looking at other methods and new methods of creating an even larger and bigger audience, and I think that's going to be another big opportunity. But I think at the same time, nowadays we've become such a fast society, haven't we? And sometimes we just, I think what's happening in our lives right now, we're just having to slow down a little bit, take things a little bit more easier, and becoming, I hope, a more kinder world, and that's what I look forward to in 2023. I think there's so many exciting adventures that we're going to have in 2023, including getting some Scottish salmon. We're all there's all
whiskey. Now you're into your drink. I think it's going to be whiskey.
I think I'm going to have to open up the smokehouse again.
I was going to ask you, Simon, do you ever miss it?
What, the smoking?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do actually. I mean, I love food, and cooking is a passion of mine. So I do miss the smoking, but I'm still doing consultancy in that. So I still get a chance to keep my hand in, if you like. I was at a project in the south of France earlier on this year, launching a smokehouse for a client there, and we had such great fun. And the language wasn't a barrier. I sort of muddled through in my French, and it seemed to get better and better the more the wine was poured. But we produced all sorts of different smoked foods, not just the smoked salmon. We did cheeses and olives and smoked olive oil and tuna, and you name it. It was anything but cigarettes that was going at that smokehouse. So it just gives me my little sort of kick of it now and again, and I've never fully lost touch with it. I've got another project actually lined up for next year up in the West Highlands, so that should be an interesting one as well. So it just keeps the hand in.
I just want you to know I'm drooling over here. Like, what is there to eat? I'm so hungry.
I'd love to open a smokehouse in America. If anybody is out there in listener land who's considering looking at setting up a business in food, then give me a shout. I'll come over and build your smokehouse for you and show you how to do it. Yes.
And I think you shared before that what's the financial investment to get started?
It depends on the scale you want to do it from. I mean, it's not cheap now because the legislation around food hygiene, etc., and so on. So all these laws have to be complied to. But you can start off for a few thousand and go up to a few million. It just depends on the scale you want to get into it. But I always reckon that the small projects produce the best end results. It's not mass produced then. It's there's passion goes into every bite, and that makes it special.
That's a rather good slogan.
Yeah, that's very
I've used that one many a time. Yes.
There you go.
It's the passion and the heritage into every bite.
Love that.
Well, this has been a fun show, and
It
I'm sorry that Diane's not here, but we're thinking of you, Diane. Happy holidays.
We are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I just say, guys? Can I just say that I know that we started on this, Simon, but it is Happy Solstice Day today. And as from tomorrow, we have 1 minute of extra light each day. And today is supposed to be the day that we actually release things. And whatever things they are within our hearts, in our minds, whatever, it's the day to release things. And I know that one of the things I woke up to was I watched something in, I think it's Glastonbury was the area, and they were singing like this chant, which was, it was like return of the sun, return of the light, return of hope on the darkest night. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you.
You're a poet.
That's lovely. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, for releasing things, I just released the cork out of that bottle.
Oh dear. We wish we were with you, Simon. One day.
Just talking about light, though, Michelle Obama has just written a new book, hasn't she? Which I think is Reaching for the Light, I think it's called, which is, again, talking about how people can overcome problems. So I think that there's a lot of positive people out there. The four of us are extremely positive people, and I hope we bring a lot of value, to people's lives as well, and do you know what? I've become such an aficionado now on smoked salmon. It's like. It's like
no, we can't end on smoked salmon, surely. Come on.
I'm thinking about putting up a by appointment sign now.
Well, I know what the three of you are going to do as soon as we conclude this show. I don't know, Helen, I'm not definitely sure, but the two gentlemen.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I am. That's all I can say.
Very good. Well, I'll go around as always and just share whatever you want to say as we close out for this week. We'll start with Mr. Ian Pelham Turner.
Okay, well, a few things. I hope everybody has a really great Christmas. I hope people remember any friends that they may have and may be on their own, and just even give them a call on Christmas Day to make their day. Dr. Jacalyn, a personal message to you. We need to do a Zoom call.
I'm with you.
And now that I've got Wi-Fi, you know, I feel like I'm back in the real world again.
It's going to be dangerous now.
And I think, you know, the reality is that Christmas is for joy, peace, and happiness, and that's what I wish every one of our audience right across the world.
That's a great message. Thank you. Helena.
Okay, so this is slightly different, although I wish everyone the best festive season ever with whatever you do. And hopefully, you know, you can spend it with people, or if you're not with your loved ones, you can connect via, you know, the internet. We're in different times, gosh, to how things were years ago. But I think one thing, we're going through it's a lot of turmoil at the moment. But one thing I think that is so important, that in the face of adversity, humility always rules in my book, and it's a very special thing that I think people shouldn't forget. That might sound slightly random, I don't know, but it's so important, and also keeps that positive platform, and never ever to forget that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And Simon.
Well, I've just had a news release in there just now that our government have cancelled their nativity play for this year, simply because they couldn't find 3 wise men. Cheers.
How much of that have you been drinking?
Since last night, I think.
And I'd like to just share that I am so grateful for so many things. And life continues to evolve, and when we wake up and we're here, that means we have another chance to make an impact in this world. So what I would suggest, and for people to just consider, is wherever you are today, whatever it is you're doing, whatever your situation is, that doesn't mean that that's where you're going to stay. And there are opportunities to grow and change. And we interview so many people who were doing one thing and now they're doing something completely different. So walk into your glory. Who knows what is out there, but just have a positive mindset, and whatever it is that you're going through, there's something to be grateful for. The fact that you're still here, or you could see, or whatever it might be. And so I just ask you, implore you, as you go through these holidays, you think about, this is where I am just at this moment. That doesn't mean I'll be here forever. And just embrace opportunity, networking, collaboration, and asking for help.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Thank you. That's lovely. Lovely note to end on, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you. And that's a wrap for today. So thank you, everybody. We will be back later on today with our show, Wild at Heart. It's our men's show. It's real, authentic, and uncut. And it is moderated and hosted by Roland Friedel, who is rolling through Europe in his motor home, and his panel of men from all over the world. So we look forward to being back with that later this afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ian, Helen, and Simon.
Bye, everybody. Merry
Cheers.
Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.